In a lot of stores. So it's little wonder that smart shoppers everywhere take time out to pause and refresh. And where else but in the fountain where they serve ice-cold Coca-Cola?
The eMilitia Podcast. Episode 47. Politics with Partners. VR has a girlfriend? Enjoy fuckers.
So, we lighting this thing?
Let's do it.
You want to start before we talk at all?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a little baby flame.
No, baby.
Marijuana cigarette time. Is that what they call them in Dare? Someone offers you a marijuana cigarette.
Is that really how
I didn't grow up with Dare.
My generation grew up with Dare, but it wasn't in my school district.
Oh, Dare's just a meme to me. I've got a little pin on my jacket that says dare to end the war on drugs. That's all I know. It just looks cool to me. I see a few pictures and I'm like, ha, didn't grow up with that. We had a little anti-drug dog. Who was like Albert? Ask Albert about Molly. It's fucking great.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I've been recording because ambient is great. Anyway. So, hello and welcome to the eMilitia Podcast. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So, something a bit more intimate, something a bit more, I don't know, hopefully educational, like we've been doing with the British gun control episodes and such. And so tonight, it's just myself, Bloody Revolutions, aka BR, joined by my lovely girlfriend. And we're going to be doing politics with partners. So it's like after a little get-together with the eMilitia in person, and we've been thinking about this for a minute, we've been wanting to kind of talk about on the show how you discuss politics and radical beliefs and morals and philosophy and all that shit with your, loved ones, whether it's family, your partner, your spouse, wife, whatever. Just in a way where you're not, throwing whiskey glasses at each other or whatever trailer parks do. So, yeah. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Usually I'm just huddled in the corner and you're like, oh, he's still recording.
Are you recording? Okay.
Oh, fuck, this went completely out. I just took a drag on a completely dead marijuana cigarette. But, so the chief goal of this is going to be kind of, because when we talk about this stuff and, when we started dating, you obviously weren't a fucking anarchist, an anarcho-capitalist or anything.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that, people wearing fedoras talk about in their basement, So, shitting on my own community. But no, seriously, when people set out to be like, I'm gonna find, an ANCAP girlfriend, no, you're not. You're gonna die alone. I'm sorry. These beliefs, they're not common, and if you want to, talk about them, with a significant other, you need to approach it a bit, open and not be dogmatic about it and just be ready to have some pushback and discussions. Okay. Yeah.
It's okay to be different. Okay to have different views.
Yeah. I mean, if everyone just, nodded along with you, you'd be fucking terrified. You're like, maybe I'm the Messiah. But
that wasn't obvious.
Yeah, I don't have Gramps with me to hit his bong and do the bubble and shit in the background. I love that sound. I love that over the clinking of ice in a whiskey glass. But anyway, so you guys sent in some questions and kind of things that you struggle to talk about with your partner, things that you kind of, uncomfortable things that are maybe a bit radical to just randomly approach out of the blue, like, hey, honey, what do you think about, I don't know. Fuck. Oh, nothing. Ending the drug war, Christ. Or like abolishing the police or the government. Any of these things, if you're pretty, you separate church and state and you just do not talk politics with your loved ones, and then when it comes up every 4 years, you have raging arguments. That's not very healthy, So, I'm going to talk through a few of them with my lovely lady here, and hopefully there's some value to it. And if not, it'll just be a chilled out episode where we're getting progressively higher and just chatting. So
we're about 2 hits in.
Yeah. Keep up that counter. We are now 64 hits in.
What number are we at?
I went to public school. I can't count. So a good first question would be, have you, or would you currently consider, or have you ever considered yourself politically engaged? Paying attention to the news and what the people in suits are saying?
No, I haven't.
It's all right. It's bullshit.
I guess I just don't see the point.
Yeah,
and I haven't.
See, I really appreciate that conclusion, even from someone who's never been interested, because it's the same one that people who are very interested, if they go down the libertarian to anarchist route, they start off like hyper engaged. Like I've been engaged in politics. I've been interested in politics since I was like pretty young. Like I was a loser kid. I'd wake up early and watch the news and shit, just to see what was going on. And after years of closely watching political parties and politicians and elections and events, I just came to the conclusion it's fucking bullshit. And so to have that, it's a much better place to start from there rather than waste all that time watching fucking nonsense. So yeah, it's completely alright to not be interested in politics. Not everyone is. It's fucking maddening.
Yeah, I mean, I keep up to date with what's important, but
what is important?
People's lives. I don't know, weird events that are going on.
Is there a war?
Global shit. There's always a war.
Yeah, that's 100% true. You ever seen, there's like this chart that shows how many years of America's history we've been at war?
No.
Oh, so it like does it. I'll pull it up at some point if you start talking at length, but it shows like from your birth year how many years the US has been at war, or like how much % of your life it's been at war. So like
Jesus,
our kind of generation,
95%.
Yeah. If you're in like the 16 to 30 range, it's usually above 80%, I think.
Jesus.
We've been in some kind of war, and I mean, Jesus, that's just the US. But yeah, no, it's completely fine to not be politically engaged. It's pretty fucking dull and maddening. So a follow up to that: is there any label you would have ever previously applied to yourself, or would now?
I really hate labels.
No, and again, that's fair. That's very libertarian to put a label on it.
It makes me sound like I don't know.
No,
but
so many people in our community are like, well, if I had to call myself something, it's like sometimes you do. Sorry, it's just easy to communicate.
Yeah,
but
well, I guess like when I really didn't know anything about politics, I considered myself a Democrat only because my parents were Democrats. Well, my mom was a Democrat, my dad was a Republican, and then like kind of on the fence, but
like back and forth.
Yeah, but yeah, and then when I really got down to it, I was like, no, like fuck both of those.
No.
So I guess
I would argue that's a very healthy conclusion. So yeah, you guys both suck.
I would say libertarian now because that's what I closely relate myself to.
Yeah. Not ready to say like abolish government.
No, I'm not like.
But you're like shake fist at government very angrily.
I'm in a questioning stage right now. I know I'm not Republican. I know I'm not a Democrat. libertarian has all the views, most of the views that I agree with.
Yeah.
So
No, it was really cool because you said that, like, I don't know when it came up. It was pretty early on though. I just spoke a little bit about it, and you're like, yeah, no, kind of. I think I'm a libertarian. And I was like, oh shit. It's like proud moment of radicalization.
we took that test.
Oh yeah, we
don't know.
That's right. We did the political compass. That's like a lot of us were always excited to like get our significant others to take it. But it's a clusterfuck of a test.
It was
like if you say you care about like workers' rights, all of a sudden you're a communist, and it's like or like you know certain human rights that go against consumerism, and all of a sudden you're a communist, and you're like, no, I'm pretty bottom right. I'm like a hardcore anarcho-capitalist, but you know, whatever. But yeah, so like jumping to those tests, a lot of people, you know, they'll get their significant other to take it, and you ended up like bang in the middle at the bottom, which was very interesting.
But more leaning right.
You were like,
right?
I think you're on the left.
Oh, yeah.
But again, it's all inconsequential because, I mean, your morals and your actual... I mean, Christ, do you know who Karl Marx is?
No.
Good. He's a piece...
Guilty.
He's a piece of shit, failed philosopher from the, Christ knows, Victorian era. He was like so he's the originator of, like, Marxism, communism, kind of... Okay. It's very much his ideas. And so, it just bangs you right in the middle of, you know, libertarian left, which means you're like a pretty stern communist or socialist. And it's like, would you be able to define either of those? Not like putting you on the spot or anything, but would you?
No.
And again, completely alright. It's just like, who fucking cares?
Yeah, I don't know. I believe what I believe, but I don't necessarily need to know where that falls.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that we talked about on the Valentine's episode. Whiskey brought it up, and we were talking about like, cause someone asked, you know, how do I get an ANCAP girlfriend? It's like, you don't just find someone who has your morals, you know?
Well, it is possible.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely it is to find someone, you know, who shares your philosophy and stuff. But I think what makes more sense is to like seek out someone with common values, because without labeling a single thing about our political philosophy or anything, we can both confidently say, like, I think at this point, not to put words in your mouth, but, you know, government force to get my way is wrong. I think a man coming to anyone's door with a gun and enforcing my ideas on them, kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
And so, like, whether you're a raging Orthodox Christian conservative and you want people to be, like, you know, not practicing, you know, gay marriage or using drugs or whatever the fuck, you want to send someone with a gun to stop that from happening, you're kind of a cunt. and you know, the same goes for someone who wants to send a cop with a gun to my door to take away my gun. And it's like, what? Like, so you're not against gun violence because you're about to create a fuck ton of gun violence, you know, making those laws. And so, like, morals are very important because we would both say that kind of violence is wrong, and we'll get into this later, but perhaps even voting for that violence might be wrong. Your face tells a story. You're like, we'll get to it. I'll ease into it. So, that rant over. So yeah, Democrat, kind of like just, I think it's a lot like religion. I said this earlier. Religion and politics kind of go hand in hand in this country. Like, if your parents are, you know, Catholic and Republican, you're pretty likely to be Catholic and Republican. There's a worrying lack of free thought in the land of the free. It's like, you just do what your parents did, you hit the same button, pray to the same God, all is well. And I think our generation's breaking out of that. But for the longest time, that's just how it's been. You got your Democrats, your Republicans, they do their thing, and you just copy your parents, carbon copy. And so it's nice to hear you, like, kind of question it, you know. And you said, did acid help you with that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
my first acid trip, afterwards I felt like I just kind of woke up. And I was like, what the hell have I been doing for the last 18 years of my life?
Man.
And yeah, well, yeah, it was a trip.
I'd hope so. It means it worked, but yeah, it's interesting that kind of prompted a change. And what I really love about you, amongst many other things, is your questioning attitude. You're not willing to just like take anything at face value. You're very, you're like, okay, but what about, you don't just accept dogma.
And I think that's kind of what acid did for me. Because before I still really, I go with emotions. I like go with the flow of how things are going, but I question it now. I'm like, okay, it's this way. You're saying it's this way, but why is it that way?
Yeah, and that's a big fucking step, because so many people will literally just press that button, pray to that god, work behind that cash register, and die doing all those things without making any kind of meaningful change or impact or questioning why they were doing any of those things their whole life. They just... And it sounds harsh, but I call them tax cattle. It's like you just know how to make a difference or to impact. You just stay in your lane. Don't question why you're there.
It's like, don't question why these laws are this way. Don't question why, I don't know, why you can't do that in your religion.
Like it's perfectly fine that someone can kick in your door and, put you on the ground for X, Y, or Z. And it's like, just obey the law then if you don't want that to happen. And it's that kind of thought terrifies me. So like when I saw that you had that questioning attitude early on, I was like, thank fuck. and that's why I was comfortable talking to you about politics. Not everyone's so lucky, some people have to work through that. But that wasn't a roadblock we had.
Yeah.
So which allows us to do this kind of thing, Just chill and chat.
Chill and chat.
Chill and chat. Politics with partners.
Welcome to Chill and Chat. Politics with partners.
Already rebranding it midway through the show. Gonna have a fucking headache doing this shit after. So one of the first things that kind of came up, because I wasn't just jumping into like, hey, what do you think of capitalism? and ending the drug war and hating cops. One of the first things that came up was me carrying.
Yep.
Do you remember the first time that like I was carrying around you?
Yep.
Did I bring it up?
No. I think you had just... I just came over to your house, and you were like running around doing errands and just come from the grocery store.
I hadn't cleared my gun.
Cleared your gun, put it away. And usually before that, you had always cleared it, put it away before I came over. And you were like, "Now don't freak out." And I was like, "What?" And you were like, "I have a gun."
No, you knew I had guns before that, right?
No,
really.
I didn't know you were carrying until then.
Oh, but but what I'm saying is you knew I had guns in the house.
Yes, I knew you had guns in the house, but I didn't know you carried on you every day.
Oh.
It was like a thing.
Yeah.
And I just remember you like lifting up your shirt and taking your gun out, unholstering it.
Dreaming.
And I had the moment of like, whoa. Like, what?
Like, oh, shit.
It just became more real. It was scary, honestly.
Yeah.
Because to me, like, at that point, I didn't understand guns. I thought guns were bad.
What'd you think of a Brit carrying one?
I didn't think much of that. Just any person carrying.
That's cool. That's fair. That's cool. There wasn't any prejudice. Like, oh, fuck, does he know what he's doing? No.
Well, actually, yeah, I was like, does he know what he's doing?
Oh, but just in general? Yeah. No, that's...
Not because you were Brit.
I go to a gun range and I'm like, I know most of these people don't know what they're doing.
That's what's scary.
That's why we shoot in the desert. But so yeah, beforehand you would have considered guns like, I mean, you weren't like anti-gun.
No,
you just like, I don't use ignorant as a harsh word, but you were ignorant of guns.
Yes.
Yeah, because like you said, your dad had a gun in the house.
Yeah, that was a big battle between him and my mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it something you noticed? Or was it you heard after the fact?
I heard after the fact, yeah. I didn't know what was going on, but he did have a gun, and then...
So he wasn't like a big gun guy or anything. It was just like, in the house.
Yeah, he grew up in not the best part of town, so...
People really underestimate how many normal households have a gun in them for self-defense. Like, I'd say 1 in 4 grandmas around here probably have a little fucking Derringer hidden away, you know, just for self-defense, or a shotgun in a cabinet, you know. Oh, grandpa passed away, but I keep it loaded. You know, like, this, I really do love that about this country. Because ordinary people, you know, politics aside, there's, you know, blue families that not every Democrat is a frothing at the mouth, you know, communist or anti-gun. A lot of them are just regular Americans who own guns and stuff. And I respect that as a cultural thing. It's like, you know, I will arm myself to defend my family. Even if you don't have to be like a, you know, God, guns and country kind of guy to believe in that simple fact of protecting your shit and your family, you know? Yeah. And that's cool. So it's cool that you grew up like that, you know, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you know, guns were just an alien thing to you.
Yeah, I never thought about having to protect myself.
Yeah.
I always felt protected growing up, like, by my dad. And then I got out of the house, and, I mean, yeah, it just never crossed my mind. Which is kind of crazy to think about now.
You didn't have any, like, moments crossing a car park where you're like, this is sketchy as fuck?
Yeah, but I'm very fortunate to never have had a situation that would make me fear for my life. And a lot of the people that I talk to that do carry now, they're like, oh yeah, like I got jumped, or
I got assaulted.
Yeah. Or I've never had an experience like that, or maybe I would have been thinking differently a lot sooner.
Yeah.
I've had some close calls, but I know how to talk people down. Yeah,
de-escalation is important, and I advise it to anyone who carries too. De-escalation and medical. God damn it, I will push that until I die. But that's another podcast. But yeah, so I guess after all that and seeing me carry, we've had some more conversations about that. Do you think you'd ever like to carry?
I do. I definitely do.
It's really cool, because I got you some pepper spray early on, because I knew that would be fairly inconsequential, you know. It's not going to terrify you to carry. Pepper spray is just like, how to make you feel to start carrying it.
More safe.
Yeah. Like, just having that contingency plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't work in the best area either at night. Even.
And you leave late.
Yeah. And I'm always the last one, so. Yeah.
So, I mean, just having that follow through, and you know, you had an incident with that fucking truck.
God, yeah.
Yeah, some truck. What did he do? He just pulled up.
And then started hollering, and...
Did they? Oh, I didn't know about
that. They were not hollering, but like, what's I didn't really understand what they were saying.
Yeah, it was like drunken, whatever, rambling and shit. Yeah. I mean, you never know how those situations are gonna go, you know? And I mean, pepper spray, you know, it's a nice contingency plan, but I don't know, you know, if it's a really fucked up situation, the guy just wants to fucking, I don't know, run you down or something.
I'm screwed.
Yeah, pepper spray is not gonna do an awful lot. Or if 2 guys get out, you know, and grab you. I mean, not just horror scenarios and shit.
Yeah.
But
it'd be good to have.
Yeah, it would be nice for you to, you know, obviously non-lethal options are great, you know. Like,
and I feel more comfortable handling a gun. I understand how to make it safe. I understand the do's and the don'ts.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm at that point yet where I would feel comfortable carrying.
But we're at the point where you're like wanting to handle them.
Yeah.
And start to pick out a carry gun and even look at holsters.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm genuinely like, no joke of a lie. God, it's such a British fucking phrase. No joke of a lie. I swear to you, mate. It's like, shut the fuck up, you cunt. But where was I? But no, I'm seriously very proud of the progress you made with it, because you've never been you were like fairly nervous when we went out shooting for the first time, but you gave everything a go. Did you shoot binary that day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first day shooting, you went from a 22 to shooting my AR on binary. I was like, I love this woman. I was so fucking proud. But yeah, I'm really proud of the progress you made on that, and kind of, you know, as comfortable as you are with it, let's do it. And it was just very, I think we did it in phases, and it went smoothly.
Yeah.
It's and that's something that a lot of people, you know, to be extreme, when you see dickheads take out their girlfriends for the first time with like a 357 revolver, and they fucking smack themselves in the face with like a 9-inch barrel, and you're like,
they're never gonna want to do that again.
yeah, it's like, congratulations, your girlfriend's gonna give you shit every time you buy a new gun, instead of being like, hey, can I go in on that? You know, like, or like, they're just gonna be terrified of shooting, or like, you know, carrying to protect themselves. Like, how would you feel if you're out of town, or what, you know, fucking you're just not around, and you gave her pepper spray, but she was never comfortable around guns after that, so she wasn't carrying them. Something happens to her. I mean, congrats, you know? Like, it's just fucking awful. And you see it. There's a lot of videos out there of people like just giving their tiny girlfriends massive guns, scaring the shit out of them. There's even been a couple incidents where they shoot themselves.
What?
Yeah, like large frame or large caliber, and they have zero practice, like being told how to hold it or anything.
Yeah.
So the recoil, yeah. And there's been an incident where I think a revolver came back, first shot like bounced it back, and then like hit her head, and she pulled the trigger again. Yeah, fucking awful.
Did she kill herself? Oh my god.
And fucking horror. We were doing like nice wholesome shit.
Jesus, I'm like,
sorry, I went off the deep. We need to get less dark.
oh god.
but yeah, I mean, it's just irresponsible and just like for a fucking laugh. There's so many people, not so many. There are people and like, yeah, stereotypes that like, they just don't respect the responsibility of educating someone else on something, you know, as real as a firearm, you know?
It's like if you have the knowledge to help someone, or you have the knowledge to set somebody up for success, and you don't give it and they end up failing. Like,
yeah.
Who is that on?
Yeah, exactly. You fucking set yourself up for failure and them awfully. All that weird rant to say, so at this point, would you say you believed in any form of gun rights?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I feel like we should all be able to own guns, be able to protect ourselves. But I also still think that there are people that shouldn't have guns. But I guess that also goes back to being able to protect yourself against those kind of people. But
yeah, I mean, my thinking comes down to two primary things. Anyone on this earth can make something awfully fucking deadly, or get access to something awfully fucking deadly, and a firearm is one of it. It's an obvious one, but there's so many different ways to kill massive amounts of people. Bombs, trucks, you know, fucking knife attacks in the right place, awful shit. But and I feel like more violence comes from gun control than it prevents, because there's only so many psychos, but there's so many innocents who get caught up in gun charges, and they end up, you know, spending decades in jail. Completely innocent people crossing state lines accidentally and getting fucked over. People who get raided, you know, like Duncan Lemp in our community, he got red flag raided for being in a militia and being like, quote unquote, a radical as I am, and they fucking shot him 4 a.m. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, just fucking awful that, I don't know, people think that would stop gun violence. Man, I need to take many less hits than you. My girlfriend is a much heavier weight with weed than me. I'm a fucking pussy because I grew up smoking British skunk and nothing else. And American stuff is quite good.
we got the good stuff.
Yeah, I'm fucking dying here. For every like 4 hits you take, I need to think about taking one next time. That's what we're gonna do.
This is hit I already lost count.
Oh my! Do you see how many questions we have left? we're like here.
We don't. Are we gonna go through all of them?
If something's boring, we'll just skip it. I can edit it out. Oh, I said two things. Oh, the second thing is I like any animal has fangs, teeth, claws, an ability to defend itself. And, the animal kingdom's fine and all, but, we have certain inalienable rights, natural rights as people. Every single person has a right to life if they're peaceful and, whatever.
Right.
And so, it doesn't matter if you're like a, 350-pound fucking MMA fighter who could rip someone's head off with your pinky, or if you're some 120-pound woman, who can barely fucking stand, like you have just as much right to, defend yourself against that MMA fighter who's gonna rip you in half. Those visuals.
Yeah.
but yeah, and I really love that anyone could strap on my Glock 19 with hollow points, and that 120-pound, well, I guess 125-pound woman now carrying that, is she is, not physically, but capability of force, she is equal to that man.
Mm-hmm.
She can stand 15 feet off, and if he looks like he's gonna fucking make a move, she can make him equally as dead as he could make her. And I think that's, it sounds fucked up. I think that's genuinely a beautiful thing that firearms does, because there will always be violent, awful people.
Yeah.
But there's so many people who would needlessly suffer. There's so many, defensive shootings and even defensive handgun users that aren't shootings. They just literally pull their gun and brandish it. And the whole thing about pulling your gun and you should kill someone is fucking NRA bullshit. But I think brandishing is a great defensive tool, and just don't call the cops. Jesus Christ. Because the only one spending time in a jail cell will be you.
Mm.
All that's to say, God, weed makes me so fucking rambly. You should have heard, I went on a podcast the other day and I just fucking, Tactical Buffalo podcast, I ranted and raved about agorism for like minutes at a time. Like I was giving a fucking speech, so apologies to them. I hope they got some value out of that. But anyway,
back to the topic.
Yeah, so anyway, I think gun rights are important to me for that. It makes every single person, no matter what they fucking believe in, what they look like, equal. Because no one should have a monopoly on force. Not an individual, not a government, not a corporation, not anyone. But yeah, gun rights. Amen. So all of that leading into, do you think my distrust of government makes sense?
Yes.
Thank fuck.
It does now.
What was did you have any like major kind of like, oh fuck moments where you were like, I see why you distrust them?
Well, for me personally, it started with the spying and like through our cell phones and
the NSA.
They're reading our text messages and shit like that. But still, to me, I was like, okay, I understand. It's,
as long as you're not doing anything wrong.
They could find. I don't have anything to hide, but like, they could find terrorists, and people.
That's why they got away with calling it the Patriot Act.
Yeah,
everyone's like, I'm just doing my duty. I don't care if my FBI agent sees what porn I watch, even though it's god awful, and I know.
So that's what started it for me. Oh god. All right, we're a few hits in.
Oh my god.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, me too. Okay, cool. We're honest with each other. That's beautiful. I'm feeling it. Yeah. Cheers to that.
No, but yeah, that's what started it for me. And then after that, it was the police.
God bless them. Making my job easier.
Like, how corrupt it is, how many lives it ruins, and it's still ruining. Yeah,
You gotta love how their response to protests against police brutality was, wait for it, more police brutality. That was a really smart move. It's really gonna pay. Actually, to be fair, it's gonna fucking pay off for him, because the vice president of the Democrat, or the VP nominee for the Democrats, is one of the worst cops in California, and the drug war. She's so corrupt. Fuck you, Kamala Harris, you awful cunt.
Every time I see your face, I just like shiver, like the coldest shiver down my spine.
That's the ghost of cuffs on your wrists.
Makes me want to throw up.
Yo, we're all gonna be much safer when this entire country is in jail. Oh, sorry, we're in a police state, so we already are.
We just need to take a big blowtorch to everything and then start over.
Oh shit, that's gonna get some of our listeners excited. They're like, I like this chick, she's fucking nuts.
No, seriously, when I think about it, I'm like, where did we go wrong? And it just goes down this spiral.
The Whiskey Rebellion. So, side note, like, evidently, I guess you just weren't interested in history that much.
I liked history, but unfortunately
your teachers
in school, I had one really good history teacher, but my focuses were on other things, like trying to survive my classes and not actually enjoying anything, which is what acid made me realize that I was not enjoying shit. I was being brainwashed in school to say the Pledge of Allegiance to a country I didn't love and that I felt like didn't love me, and go to school every day, keep my fucking head down, and just go through what I was told was the right thing to do, which was to get straight A's in school and go to college. And then I got to college and I was like, why the fuck am I here?
Like, I hate all of that, and I still hate it. What
have I been doing?
I just muscled.
For what?
I muscled through mine with enough alcohol to kill a small horse and drugs. And it was art school, so I mean, like, who the fuck are we kidding? I'm a graphic designer, so I'm better than an artist, but, you know.
Whatever.
That's 100. That's factually true, and I can prove it with employment numbers.
What?
Oh, 100%. We make so much more money. Anyway, what do you think of me? Like, I mean, just simply the label anarchist. Me being one.
Still, I kind of have a hang up on the word anarchist, only because it's been bred in me that
anarchy is chaos.
Yes, chaos and destruction. I know that is not true now, but
that's how we're taught it in school. I don't know if I have told you this, but we had to write some paper about government in middle school. I was 13, I think, and I accidentally advocated for anarchy. Not by name, but I essentially said, like, people have no right to rule over other people. Like, people are inherently flawed, and, you know, people make dangerous decisions that hurt people all the time, so we should, you know, kind of be in charge of ourselves. I accidentally kind of came up with libertarian anarchism as a 13-year-old with no idea about any of that. And it's really weird because so many people are like, oh, I read Rothbard, or I read Friedman, or blah, 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 blah. And I listened to the good Dr. Paul. I'm like, I was just a really fucking weird kid. And I had to talk to firearms officers in England. And the firearms officer that allowed me to, you know, praise the crown, allowed me to own firearms after talking to my doctor, and, like, being intrusive as fuck. I genuinely think he fucks kids.
Oh.
I really do. He was so creepy. He was really fucking creepy.
No.
And they come into your house and they sit down with you and they talk with you one-on-one. And it was pretty threatening. And from that moment, I was like, this is inherently wrong, because I'm a good person and I'm never going to do anything bad with these guns. Fuck this guy. Mm-hmm. And from there, I just was, despite all the wrong labels I called myself, I was, like, not for the government at heart.
What do you mean, wrong labels you called yourself?
well, like conservative and stuff. I thought I was a conservative and then a constitutionalist and then a libertarian conservative, then a libertarian, and finally down the rabbit hole.
Here we are.
Talking to my girlfriend about hating the government on my podcast, of course. Strokes beard. So how has, because you've had more exposure than most to anarchists, like so many people in our community, bless them, but they just don't know anyone around them who even come close to their kind of beliefs. But you've been able, I mean, from early on, we'd be hanging out with the Marines, the Biting the Bullet guys, Luke Typo and Jared, and then so we'd just be bullshitting about government and stuff. It's just kind of to have that kind of exposure. And then recently, my lovely eMilitia. I'm high right now and I feel nothing but love for them, but more so than usual. But and the lovely Carrie Wedler as well. Mm-hmm. I was so happy that the kind of people you've been able to interact with that share my philosophy are like all of my favorite people. Yeah, you've interacted with the people I really genuinely feel push this philosophy in a positive way. Mm-hmm. They're consistent and they're like not doomery. They're very positive, very hopeful, optimistic, and they're just good people. So they with their message, they put out that energy too, which I think is fucking essential. You can't be like sitting there with the ender's nigh on your sandwich board. You gotta offer some fucking hope, and I'm glad that you've met only people who I feel do. Yeah.
They're all great people. What was the question?
How's it influenced you? Sorry, I didn't even.
Okay, you didn't get to the
question. I didn't even do the question. I just went on a ramble with love. I just saw.
They deserve it.
They do. Also, carry on, honey. What the fuck? Get your shit together. I'm gonna run the show for you, you fucking lightweight. No, how's it influenced your opinion on anarchists? Because there's plenty of people in our community who I could take you out with and they're a fucking laugh, and I know in their heart they're consistent, but they'll fucking joke about burning down shit, shooting up places. They're fucking crazy, and I love them for it. But it's like to introduce someone, it's like this is kind of the deep end, So how's it influenced your opinion on anarchy and anarchists interacting with them? You, Carrie, and Buckles had some pretty good talks.
Yeah. It really opened my eyes, and it actually showed me the true meaning of anarchy. Yeah. And I understand it now. I really relate to a lot of the beliefs. Yeah. And I appreciate how just every single one of your friends that I've met in the anarchy world, they've all been really great people. Yeah. And they're just kind of okay, that's what you do. You're not hurting anybody. You're just here to be here, and everything's great. And just keep doing that. And it's just total acceptance. Mm-hmm. That's how I felt when I met the eMilitia.
It's alright. No one can spell our fucking podcast. Our viewership would be incredibly higher if we used an easier word. I fuck it up hard. If I'm drunk and I'm writing a post, I'm like, eMilitia. I'm like, oh Jesus fuck, what happened there?
No, but that's how I felt when I met the eMilitia. They were all just, and when I had questions, I felt like no one was like, "Oh, you don't know?" Yeah. Okay, dude. Yeah. It was just purely educational.
Well, it's because it's what they do day in, day out. Mm-hmm. That's what we all live for. We all live for spreading this, what I consider a really beautiful philosophy. It's peace, Mm-hmm. And so when someone asks a question, especially, in person, sitting around, chilling and stuff, and it's like, hey, what about this? They're like, oh, well, man, I'm so glad you asked, And I love that energy, and that it was such a good weekend to have that time and just be just bullshit. And, mm-hmm. I felt that it couldn't have gone better, apart from poor Resi losing his fucking foot.
Oh, R.I.P.
The viewers still haven't heard, so we've got like the party ambience. I think we're gonna do like a more cohesive storytelling episode. We're just gonna have like that ambience be a bonus episode or something. But we'll finally share our meetup and what went down on that episode. This is like a preamble to that. So this is actually your first appearance on the show because you speak a little bit in that.
Yeah.
So, but soon. No, I'm glad that we could do that, and honestly, like everything's kind of gone to plan with that. Not that I had a plan or anything, but everything's gone as good as it could with talking about this kind of stuff with you. I'm very fucking fortunate. The friends I've got, the way things have worked out, it's all been like chef kiss. So here's one that we could dig into a little bit. Do you have any hang-ups about anarchism? And it's perfectly fine to have them because no one like just jumps in with 2 feet like, this'll work.
Yeah. I guess we were talking about this earlier, but that I understand everyone should be able to contribute to a society in any way that you can. Maybe you're the librarian. Maybe you that's what you do. Or maybe you build homes. Or maybe you bag groceries at the grocery store. Whatever. Everyone is capable of doing something. But there are some people that are not capable of doing those things because of how they're born. Any kind of disabilities that they may have, whether that be physical or emotional. What kind of system do you have for people like that?
See,
or is there a system?
There's no system.
There's always a system.
Yeah, so
chaos.
So you gotta think of. I really genuinely believe an anarchist society, and this will surprise people. I don't think it would look too much different from what we do today.
Okay.
I genuinely believe. I mean, there'd be lots of variations of it. There'd be lots of different ways people would try it, especially in the early days, until there's kind of like a general consensus about what's the most effective. You know, people are going to be trying out all sorts of different systems, but principally, we're not going to start living in like cocoons and, you know, flying helicopters to work and shit. It's not going to like suddenly look like a different world. It's going to be very much the same just without the government, you know. And so what that changes is roads look a little bit different. The school system's a bit different, but most services would still carry on, and that continues to like humanitarian stuff. I mean, there's always going to be people who, out of the goodness of their heart, you know, they want to help people for their job, and they'll bust their ass to make it happen. I mean, we had the voluntarism in action guys on, and they just grassroots libertarian charity. You know, they, to my knowledge, don't have any grants or anything. It's all donations. It's all, hey, you know, this family, their kid's got cancer and he needs help with the operations and the costs and all that. And people, you know, donate.
So we're just depending on the goodness of people's hearts.
Well, all right. No, you're right to be skeptical. And
what happens when that?
Well, I mean, so what's at the minute? How are people like? So we have welfare, and so welfare is part of your taxes, which involuntarily given. I mean, right now the goodness of government's heart, they point guns at us, extract money, and redistribute it, right? And so we have like generational welfare now, where you'll have 3 generations of people on welfare or something, and it's like. Has the welfare helped or hindered them? And so, like, people, you know, like right now, people are a lot of completely able-bodied, employable people with job opportunities are staying at home or have been. I don't know if they've cut off yet. I've been keeping up with it. But getting that extra unemployment insurance, they've been just choosing not to work because it's a better deal. Yeah. And, you know, why the fuck wouldn't they? And so, you gotta think, like, is that system really optimal? is this, like, essential? Or is it just gratuitous amounts of money just being pissed away because they fucked up their system, and now, the market's not remedying itself because it's not a natural market, it's not a free market, it's an artificial one with these outside influences like government paying people to stay home, and the economy gets all fucked up as a result. And so I think people will always be charitable. I don't think you need to point guns at people to make them give, because, like I was saying earlier, this country is very charitable. From high income to low income, we give fucking tons. Just in the Western world, I don't know if it extends past that, but from my knowledge, just especially Americans give tons of charity. I need to drink really bad. I'm so dry. Too much ranting. I sounded completely different. All right. but yeah, so I think without government, there will be a safety net. I think there's always going to be private charities, and I think it's, if people need help, it's going to come down to private charity. I think they're the people who will help best. I don't think anything good comes of a man pointing a gun at someone, that money being thrown in a pot, and then the people who win the popularity contests, pocket some of that for their second summer home, and then some of that maybe gets redistributed to inefficient welfare programs that pay people to stay home from work, and then maybe the guy who was born, with one leg and a crippled arm, gets, I don't know, $300 a week, sorry. And so it's like, what kind of quality of life is that? And then how much money is being pissed away? I mean, you see the thing about stimulus checks being sent to dead people?
Yeah.
Like
9 point... Wait.
Oh, God.
What was the number?
Let's look that up. Stimulus checks to dead people. Fuck me. More than 1 million... Oh, fuck me. The federal government sent coronavirus stimulus payments to almost 1.1 million dead people, totaling nearly $1.4 billion US. And that's on the Washington Post if you want to look that up. But,
there's just no point.
Yeah, so let's look at that number. 1.4 billion of money that, if that wasn't paid up out of people's pockets, those people would have been put in cages or killed. And if they're put in cages, then the rest of us can be charged taxpayer money to look after them in those cages. It's fucking madness that, and it's a completely acceptable question. It's something that we talk about libertarian empathy, the libertarian empathy problem, where the first question is, what about the vulnerable? And that's completely okay. Charity is, and a lot of people scoff at the idea of charity being the only safety net. And it's like, but let's look at the current system, where we're pissing away 1.4 billion could fucking cure cancer if it wasn't in the interest of the corporations and the medicine people. Put on your tinfoil hats, people. Fucking corporations.
Oh boy.
But I entertain myself too much. Without the other guys cut me off, I'm very entertained with my voice. The weed is doing awful things to me.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed. But geez, I need to pull out my questions to keep me in check. I need to be policed. This is anarchy. Yeah, so it's perfectly valid to be like, who's gonna look after the vulnerable? And I would argue we're not. There's still people end up in these just cycles where they don't, it doesn't sustain them very well, and they don't have any chance of improving past it. It's just like life support, barely. And then it squanders so much. Just that 1.4 billion is a stupid amount of money. People do not realize how much a billion is compared to a million. It's a fucking lot. It's so much. It's and 1.4 billion, you're like, oh, that's next thing up from a million. You see the fucking zeros, and you see what that money's being pissed away on, what our government does with it. You would vomit profusely if you spend enough time looking at it. And so I just wanna keep that money in good and bad people's pockets, and trust in them to, look out for their fellow man. I genuinely believe people would, because, I mean, even now, under this disgusting amount of taxation, people give so much. So without that, not everyone's gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna tighten my purse strings.
Yeah, it's true. And it wouldn't be the idea of having little society pods kind of like all over. You just kind of meld with people that believe the same things you believe.
Yeah.
And you should all be able to do what the fuck you think is right to do.
I think there'd still be communities who did practice welfare.
Yeah.
I think 100%, and that's completely fine with me. If these government ideas, so a lot of people are like, well, if you had anarchy, wouldn't states just start to develop? And it's like, yeah, but without... So I'd rather, Dave started his own republic, and he's like, we're going to have welfare. And everyone who lives there is like, yeah, I'm cool with this.
Or they're not.
Yeah.
And they have the choice to just walk away and go wherever they please.
The Wild West is one of my favorite... I hate that's called the Old West. It wasn't as wild as movies depict.
Wild Wild West. That's my favorite movie. We have to watch.
Is that a thing?
With Will Smith?
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh, we gotta watch that.
Alright.
Okay.
That's on the to-do list.
But the Old West.
The Old West. So, the Old West, I mean, every town before the government was out there, it was self-policing. It was like, this is my town.
Yeah.
This is how we do things here. Some towns, they had very fucking strict gun control. You couldn't take your guns in anyway. You had to, or you might have to leave them with the sheriffs and stuff. That's perfectly valid. I think you should have 3 on you all the time, see them while you're sleeping. But, if a community, if you, no one's pointing a gun at you and, in this blanket system of 350 million people and saying, you have to do this in every state, and there's no way of escaping it apart from going to fucking Somalia. This is just how we do things here. That's fucking criminal. That's awful. But to give people the option, I'm just gonna go 5 miles up the road and spend my money there because they're not dicks and they let me keep my gun on me. I prefer them a lot, actually. Feel safer. Guess what? A lot more towns are gonna be letting you keep your gun on you because they get your business, and that's gonna become the more prolific way of life. Or it's not. Free market of ideas. You have these options to try out different things, and some of them will be popular and some will be very niche, but there'll be different ways to live. I think welfare, there will be communities who practice it and ones who don't, and that'd be much better than fucking holding everyone at gunpoint and saying, this is how we look after people. Or you hate poor people.
I just kind of had a revelation in my head.
What's that?
Because another hang up that I had was, what do you do with all the people that are mentally insane or that just want to kill because they want to kill? And yeah, you should be able to defend yourself, but what if it's people that have some kind of mental disability? Do you put them in rehab centers, or is that on the choice of the victim? Or
I think so. I would love to speak to an anarchist lawyer who knew present day laws and then also had great conceptual ideas for that. And there are books on this, but Mel Empress and Meme, she talks about prison abolition, and because I'm still kind of fluid on this. I don't agree with capital punishment. I think giving it to a state, I think, is inherently wrong. I think a victim, if they are wronged in such a way, murder, rape, whatever, I think an individual choosing capital punishment is okay.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
So, people's court? Do you think it would be courts?
I think private courts. We have them today, private arbitration courts.
So then who holds that person? What's to keep who's to keep that there's a victim and the
defendant.
There we go. The defendant from taking off. Who's to hold that person?
So I mean, if you have a community, it's going to be necessary to have some kind of law and order, whatever the system might be. And as a result, it's going to be like a service to take someone to court,
Okay.
This is something that, like...
So are there laws then?
Well, I mean, based on the community, like I was saying.
On the community. Okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
like here you may carry your gun into a bar, and this town you may not. Or here you may, I mean, Christ, it could be, here we don't do drugs. We're an Orthodox Catholic community, and it's like, fair enough. That's what you guys are doing. You've all agreed to it. I'm coming into it. If I don't like it,
I can go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of my philosophy on it. There would be many different ways of living, and like I said, I think there's going to be very niche ones like communes and Orthodox Christian groups, things like that, who want to practice their way of living and they don't want to mix. You've got white supremacists, black supremacists.
Yeah. They should be able to do that.
Yeah. Like okay then.
Whether you agree with it or not.
Yeah. It's like, okay, fuck off then. Like go separate. That's yeah. Seriously, that's government doesn't like that. Ruby Ridge.
And then there should be people that don't want to be part of anything and just kind of want to disappear off the grid.
Mountain men. 100%. I'm sure they're out there right now, and fucking bless them. just off on public land in the woods, the Rockies and shit, just
doing that thing.
Yep, just in a cabin on public land, hundreds of miles out of the way from a road. But the dream. But no. Unfortunately, we like Call of Duty and weed too much. I guess we could grow our own.
We could grow our own weed, and that's what solar panels are for,
Fuck it. I dig it.
Oh, I can still play COD.
Well,
good old COD.
Good old COD. You're acting like you're a long time gamer.
I've been playing for the last 2 weeks.
Obsessively.
No, but I had a relationship with COD way before.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I want to talk about this on the show.
Yeah, we had a
thing.
We had a little thing. We broke off for
entanglement.
Yeah.
Now you grew up with brothers. That's the thing.
Yeah.
God's been part of your life before me.
I actually introduced it to my little brother.
Oh man. Any good?
My little brother?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was better than him though. And then
the student became the master.
I broke up with COD for like 3-4 years, and now I suck again. But
we'll get back there.
We're getting there.
So, have I influenced your views? I think you've kind of answered a little bit, but
definitely, you've influenced my views. You've kind of opened my eyes to a different way of thinking, and
that's a nice way of putting it.
Having a different, a better trust in people doing things on their own.
Yeah.
Because before, I was like, well, we need police because who's going to protect us? They don't. So,
newsflash.
I don't know who's going to. What if I lose my job? How am I going to support myself or support my family? Hopefully, there are some good-hearted people out there that will help me out, get me back on my feet.
I think very, very often we see that there is, like you have we won't go into it, but you have a good community that you work in.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're in a tough spot,
you
got people who have your back.
Yeah. And that's just from being a good person.
Yeah.
Good people will have people like that.
Yeah. I think finding your kind of tribe and, whatever it might be, something, whether it's, group, philosophy, organization, whatever it might be, just having some kind of group that you associate with, you'll always have, people that prop you up. And I think that's something that we've really, not everyone has that anymore in this world. We're so isolated, and I think it's kind of meant to be that way. So, the only thing that keeps us together is our lovely government. So we're all in it together,
Yeah.
We all oh, you have to contribute to society, and we're paying your taxes. Just, yeah, you're one of us. Pay your taxes, all that shit. And it's like, I don't want to be a part of this. I fucking hate this. This is awful. And you're doing bad things, And I think they've really removed that kind of community that people used to have, just amongst neighborhoods and churches and things like that. People just don't associate like that nearly as much.
Yeah.
And so those little communities that would, like, being involved with each other, they would look out for each other. Now it's just like, Christ, could you name our neighbors?
No.
Yeah. I mean, if everything went to shit, I'd be just as ready to, watch them come over and start breaking into our shit as I would, a random. I don't know them. That sucks. That's something that, I think could really be improved. And I think this feeling of outsourcing our responsibilities has kind of made us more selfish, because there's like an immediate direct route to help, quote unquote help, rather than going and knocking on your neighbor's door. You're just like, I'll just call someone at some federal agency to come and babysit me.
Yeah.
I mean, Christ, no one would go and knock on the door of their neighbor anymore about a noise complaint. They just call the cops and people get shot. But so yeah, starting out on that positive note of, you've opened my eyes. People get shot. That's what I do.
You've definitely opened my eyes, and I'm very appreciative of that new look. I feel like I've always just been able to empathize with where people are coming from when it comes to things.
Yeah, you're easy to speak to.
Ultimately, it comes down to, back to what I believe, and if I, could think about it that way and agree with it that way. But I do.
You can put yourself in other people's shoes and like see where they're coming from. That's a very valuable thing. And I think conversely, people really need to develop or have that skill to share our philosophy, to look in someone's eyes and be like, I can see why they think I'm a foaming at the mouth radical, and how I'm like, how they might think I'm unempathetic, or how they might think I'm extreme, and be like, okay, well, how can I bridge that gap, rather than what many of us do in the early stages is freak out and be like, well, fuck you, like, well, why are you trying to force me to do this thing? And it's like, they're ignorant. Sorry, you gotta help them, because you're coming from what sounds like a pretty crazy spot. You gotta make it make sense to them.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, we haven't really had any political arguments. Or really any arguments. We smoke too much weed. So it just makes it easy. It's like, what do you think of this? I disagree with you. Let's talk about it.
Why?
Yeah,
okay.
Why?
That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I still don't agree with you, but
oh man, when I'm ladies and gentlemen, when I'm correct about something, I get some looks, and I'm getting them right now. No comment.
I don't want to talk about it.
All right. But so I mean, how do we settle differences of opinion? We generally will sit down and chat, and be like, we try and empathize with each other. I think
we ask a lot of questions.
We do. We ask a lot of questions. We don't just go in with like opinions and
guns ablazing.
Yeah, fucking smacking each other.
You're wrong.
Yeah. It's like, well,
no.
It's like, well, I don't want to be wrong, and you don't want to be wrong. So guess how productive this is going to be? Not fucking very. So when we just ask each other questions until one of us is like, I mean, it ends two ways. It's okay, I disagree.
Still okay.
Or it's like,
oh, what is that?
Have fun. That's you, ma'am.
That was me.
I believe so. And then like, yeah, okay.
All right. Quick change of subject.
Yes, always. So, okay.
So, anyways,
but no, like we've never had any kind of falling out. I think too many people, whether it's politics or even just fucking life, like too many people go in with their opinion and they're ready to fucking smack their significant other up, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing? You're partners, work together.
Yeah.
Sit down and fucking debate like adults. Not debate, but conversate. Fucking swap opinions and ask questions.
Yeah.
And I think, anyone who smokes weed, you're gonna have a fucking hell of an easier time than anyone else talking about politics. But have a fucking drink and chill and go into these conversations with the right mentality. Or if you don't drink, fucking go in just calm.
You don't need weed or alcohol.
No, you're quite correct.
Open-minded and take yourself out of your shoes. That's what I give. That's the advice I would give.
Yeah. I think that'll make a world of difference for, just talking. It makes things easier. It makes things... I don't fucking stress about talking to you about stuff. It's like, we'll just work through it. Even if we disagree, even if you give me some fucking glares. we'll ask some questions, and either way, it'll be pretty inconsequential. World won't end. So this is a fun one that we started to talk about at brunch. But what do you think of public schooling? 'Cause you had a little revelation early in our dating, and it was beautiful. You just sat up.
Beautiful for you. It was like...
You were like, oh, fuck. And I'm just sitting there like, yes. See it all.
I think the schooling system is fucked.
Preach.
Personally. Yeah, it's super fucked. And
in what ways?
There's so many different ways. It's fucked up in the
like
information that's given. The information, one. Some of it valid.
Yeah.
Like,
but we talk about going to war with the Indians.
Elementary
where it's
school, I get it. We need that foundation.
Read, write, do math.
What else? Create like arts and stuff.
Yeah, but
you got your music, you got your PE, you got your athletics, and your... See,
it gets fucked so quick though, because the second you start doing history, it's so revisionist.
Oh yeah.
Like we talk about the war with the Indians, like it was some line up on both sides and go at each other, and the best man wins. And it's like, nah, the U.S. cavalry was just shooting men, women, and children indiscriminately while they slept. I mean, and the Indians, they got their own back. Sure, they scalped some Americans, scalped some homesteaders and stuff.
But
it's nothing so clean cut as they went to war.
Yeah.
It's like, there was fucking war crime. Like, damn near every conflict, every interaction was a war crime. And we just, cowboys and Indians, and that's U.S. history. It's so fucking dressed up. We talk about Washington, this great revolutionary, who would then wage war, the Whiskey Rebellion, against his own veterans for being pissed off about, he didn't wage war, but like he was willing to use violence against, rebels who fought on his side for wanting untaxed whiskey in their tax rebellion. And it's like, U.S. history went fucky so quick, damn near from the start. and the way it's taught is just a mockery. I mean, don't even start on British history, that's something else. But America is not mentioned once. But we do the Old West, weirdly, but none of the Revolution. Interesting. We're a bit sore. Interesting. America just came into being. We don't know how.
Oh my god.
No, it's not quite that bad, but we don't fucking talk about it. But yeah, history, like, it's just fundamentally, and you can see very quickly, it's like, this is a government school. Mm-hmm. Guess what? It teaches government history, government English, government everything else. It's like, you think this way, and that's your lot. Your civics and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, so, schooling is meant to breed American citizens the way the government thinks they should be.
Tax cattle.
Not breed, but like... Form, yeah. Form the citizens, the future citizens of America. You pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all is a bunch of horse shit.
That's fucking terrifying.
I know it. Like, it's bred in me. It's disgusting.
We don't even do that.
And
well, we have a fucking monarch.
I think back to the people that I feel like it started happening first in maybe middle school, like late, like 7th, 8th grade. But I remember one girl would not stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, and she got kicked out of class.
No.
But it's your right. It's your right. And then in high school, they were like, we're not allowed to. Okay, you can't scream and make a scene while we're pledging our allegiance, but you can sit down. That's your own thing. But in middle school and elementary school, that was like unheard of. And the first time I saw that, I was like, what?
That's funky.
Is she allowed to do that?
Yeah.
I've never considered it. I could sit down right now.
Land of the free.
I didn't, but yeah. I came to the realization that the government schooling system is brainwashing and
breeds obedience.
It does. And just
compliance and
ugh.
What did you say? You were like, the teachers are do you remember?
Oh, I was comparing it to society. So
yeah.
The
I was sitting here just laughing out. I loved it.
So you've got your enforcers. Who else? You've got the citizens. That would be the little kids here. Teachers are teaching or giving the information. I guess that would be like where do we get the news? Like, where do we get our information from? TVs, radio. Not really much
media.
Yeah.
But they're also kind of the enforcers.
And we've got a board. School boards. Those would be, I guess, any voting kind of boards, systems and stuff.
Teaches you democracy, and democracy is good and all that. And
you've got your president, the good old principal. Princess Pow. Learned that.
What?
You ever learned that?
What is it?
Principal. There's the principal of a school, and there's principal, like this is the principal of a certain subject. Principal.
Oh, like principal of English.
Yeah. So
yeah, that, I never got.
Principal Pal is the person. That's how. Okay. Anyways, it's not important.
I was like, you need to smoke. You need to smoke more. I think I am gonna. God help me.
Yeah, that was just a realization. And which explains why I took acid, and then afterwards was like, I have been asleep my whole life, is how I felt. Because I didn't think. I didn't have to think. It was just told to me that things were a certain way, and I just went with it, whether I agreed with it or not.
Yeah.
I never questioned it, if I even agreed with it.
Free thinking is fucking terrifying the first time you do it.
And that's what there is no free thinking in school. What happened to creative writing? I miss that shit. You don't do that in high school.
Do you not?
Well,
like just for one module or something?
Yeah, it's not like, what happened to, okay, now's your free write time.
I only did it once in high school. I did one creative writing essay. Everything else was like non-fiction. Yeah, they kill creativity. I was told I wasn't creative, and now I'm a graphic designer. in art. What a fucking cunt.
You're not creative because there's a bunch of creative guys, and this is how this creative guy thought. Yes, and you don't think like this creative guy.
That's exactly what we did. My entire art education was literally, we would so there was two artists that we studied, Ellis Lowry and David Hockney, and we had to copy their art style. We had to go out and paint a scene or whatever in their art style. It's like, this is not art. This is organized, like, picture making. This is not creativity. It's fucking insane. And God, I'm so glad I went into commercial design, because I was still creative, but I was like, this is fucking bullshit and I hate art. And school made me hate something I enjoyed, a creative subject. It's like, that's what public school does. It fucking sucks the soul out of English, history, art, maths is already soulless. Fuck. Music, seriously. I mean, you were lucky you had a good music program, but...
In high school, I definitely did.
But that was more on the individual rather than, like...
Yeah.
She was probably doing...
just because she was amazing.
Yeah.
And
that's the only thing that stands out. Like, when people say, like, oh, well, what about this teacher? It's like, yeah, there's amazing individuals who, in this society or a stateless one, they would be a teacher. That's what they love. But... And they shine, and they would be, well compensated in a better system, I think. But they make do with the fucked up funding they get, and do their best with it, and bring their own stuff. They bring additions to the subject. They don't just follow the curriculum like so many of these fucking drone mouthpieces.
Yeah.
They're genuinely enthusiastic. His joint.
Drops ashes on bed.
Drops ashes all over bed. Makes a fucking mess.
It's okay, it's on your side.
Yeah, that's alright, yeah. Yeah, shit. Alright, to that end, what do you think of homeschooling?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think, again, that would go into the different, like, what society you would be a part of.
Yeah.
What's important to be educated about.
Yeah.
Of course, start with the basics again, like the reading,
essentials.
Writing, math. But also, why don't they teach us how to fucking do finances in school?
Yeah.
Unless you go to college, if you can afford it.
No one teaches you. And what's really troubling to me is, like, I feel like the state doesn't encourage, like, personal advancement or generational advancement. No one wants your family to lift themselves out of poverty if you're in there, or even middle income. They want you to stay there. They don't want new power, new money. It happens in this country, but I think it happens because of unique individuals who have talent to bring themselves up out of that. Innovators and stuff. But I don't think there's nearly as many as there would be in a better schooling system. So many people have failed by it, and you see potential go to waste all the time. Some fucking pothead working in a record store, and he could have been working.
He's like a really
like a genuinely good intellectual person who's just squandered because
school, but unfortunately doesn't fit into any of
the rigid quote unquote subjects. Yeah, it fails them. And where am I going with this? I think a more individualistic approach, as I think to everything, would benefit people so much more. Not some dumb collective where you're A, B, or C.
Yeah,
you're like an infinite number of different things in every person. God, that sounds really fucking stonery, doesn't it?
No, it's true. Like, that's why I hate labels, because it's like you're not.
Yeah, you're an individual.
You can't perfectly fit in with an ideal, like one single ideal
archetype.
Yeah, you can't. There's going to be something that you do not agree with, and that's fine.
Yeah,
doesn't mean you. I hate labels.
Yeah, no, it's completely understandable because, I mean, that's just individualism. A label is meant to group things, and people, and so much in life is individualistic, and it's hard to label it. We do for convenience, but when it comes down to it, labels are often inconvenient. They restrict us.
That brings me to I read this book. And I loved English. Like, I love to write, I love to read. So English was my favorite subject in school. But in junior high, I read this book, Anthem.
Yes.
And
this was a crazy revelation. And
the whole thing is the society has taken the individuality out of everything. So it's like whenever you speak of yourself, it's a we. Like, it's not you on your own. You're not your own person. You've got a number. You don't even have a name. Like, and this is what you do for the organism. And at the end, the main guy, like, he says I for the first time, and he finds a book. If I'm remembering this right, I'm probably totally wrong, but he finds a book at the end, and it's all the words that were cut out of the society, and I is one of them. And he's like, what? Like, I am my own person. And it was like, I fucking loved that book.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first book that we read going into high school. Or I don't even know what grade it was, but going into that grade in high school. And I was like, I'm so excited for this class.
That was, you were very lucky, because I don't think I've never heard of Ayn Rand being, especially Anthem, being common on a regular, primary through high school curriculum.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen because it encourages individualism. It's greatly stress, and I feel like public school is so into, you are part of the organism.
Yeah.
And then that book just spits in the eye of that, and it's like, no, you are you.
Yeah.
And but yeah, here's a fun fact. So Ayn Rand and objectivism has always been like a component of the libertarian movement and community. But I have never fucking read her. And honestly, like, objectivists are, oh god, bow tie wearing pricks. They're just always so boring. I hate them. But no hate if you're cool, but so many of you are fucking nerds. I appreciate Anthem. Ayn Rand, like, as a philosopher, she seemed kind of bitchy. I'm sure she had valid points, and I like some of her stuff, but Anthem, I see lots of value in that as a book. Gets mad at me for Ash, now there's cake on the bed. My word.
Still on your side.
Fuck. I'm gonna roll over and feel some cake on my ass. Yeah, it was really cool. Like, we were just putting up, so we moved places recently, and finally putting all of our books on the same shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I didn't know I had Anthem. I thought maybe I just absentmindedly bought it at some point at a thrift shop, and I was like, I don't think so. And you're like, oh yeah, it's mine. I like that book. I was like, what the fuck? I was so confused. I was like, this must be mine. I was like, Anthem by Ayn Rand, right? Yeah, that was really cool to hear.
That's funny.
Oh, here's a fun one. So, you remember a few months back when we were like, shit, I think there's gonna be like martial law. I'm buying bullets and groceries, babe. I'll be back in 20. And you remember my failed emergency box. What do you think of prepping? Like, do you believe in being prepared for emergencies? And is that something that has changed with me, or?
Most definitely, I do believe in it now. Well, before you, I was already questioning the government a bit.
Yeah.
But not to the extent that I do now, knowing as much as I do now. And I was like, I didn't think it was possible that it would crash anytime soon, or like something could happen that would there would be just no answer and everything.
Yeah, it was very sudden. Like, I've been very fortunate in a fucked up way with this year, because it's kind of just, it's been a real win for libertarians who know how to argue their stuff, because it's like, just fucking look at that. It's right there. What the fuck?
They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, like, it's been just horrible fucking tyrant moves, followed by not having a fucking clue what they're doing, followed by more awful tyranny, and then police brutality came up, and it's just been like an entire fucking year where I really hope it's been happening as much as I've been seeing in my life, but like, I really hope libertarians have been able to put out, just to be like, do you understand now? Please? Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's been like a case study of what the fuck, government, for like a year.
Like one thing after another.
Yeah.
Can't handle this. Can't handle this. It's like, is the universe like throwing these things out to us right now, and just so that we can all see and wake up right now? Like,
yeah.
Or is this being, here comes my conspiracy brain.
Do it.
But is there like a Frank behind the scenes?
Oh, we've been watching, for context, we've been watching House of Cards, so she's saying Frank Underwood. Is there a Frank behind the scenes?
Is there like someone that's like, we're gonna reveal this shit and then everything's gonna hit the fan?
Illuminati time? But,
I mean, I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that.
But I'm not saying that. So.
But, back to emergency prepping.
Yeah, I think it's definitely necessary. I've also thought about just everything going on. Just trying to be more independent.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything thus far to work towards that, but at least I'm thinking about it. Like having my own herbs and fruits and veggies in the backyard. And
shout out to Jared.
Yeah, we'll be hitting you up soon.
Yeah, we need some green thumb help. But yeah, like just a little bit of self-sustainability.
Yeah, it's got me thinking about that.
Yeah, like, oh shit, if I didn't have,
like if everything did fucking hit the fan, what are the things that I need, and how do I get those things? Are they all dependent on being able to go to a grocery store that has all those things? And what do you do when there's not a grocery store?
Yeah, and what do you do when your paper money doesn't mean fuck all?
What do you do when there's not a gas station? How are you gonna get that gas? yeah. How are you gonna get away from the danger? Because I mean, but before fighting, before struggling, you should get the fuck away from any danger. I mean, if something happens in our state, who's to say that 2 states away won't be safe? Like any disaster. And so, like something as simple as being able to hop in your truck and get the fuck away from it. Are you gonna be able to do that? Are you gonna be able to do that if there's roadblocks? Or some kind of martial law? Need to put some fucking rounds down. So we need a helicopter and
and more guns.
No, but seriously, like, what do you have to have an all fails?
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I'm a paranoid fucking freak of nature, and there's so many contingencies that you can like custard. There's so many contingencies that you can plan for. I mean, you watch any prepping show and you'll have a guy prepared for the zombie apocalypse, fucking Y2K, he doesn't know what year it is, an asteroid hitting, a plague, whatever the fuck it might be, government, foreign invasion, flood, biblical shit. All these guys, it's like, a few of those were crazy, but like, there's so many different things that you could be prepared for, and I think being prepared for like the fucking worst case scenario, like disasters everywhere, like natural disasters followed by martial law. I think aim for something like that, and then you can kind of like, if it's anything less than that, you'll be fucking sitting pretty. If it's that, you'll be good to go. I that's what people used to say when there was a whole like zombie apocalypse craze that went on for like 3 years. Yeah. Where people would like have those zombie survival team stickers and all that cringy shit.
Yes.
The gun community
that was when all them shows and movies were everything. There were so
The Walking
many
Dead was like fucking insane. Everyone was a fan of The Walking Dead. Yeah.
And they were all the same.
They
were. You think about it.
I loved zombies for a time.
I know, I do. I still love zombies.
I like George Romero's God, but like, Jesus fucking Christ. It was a lot for us, even for zombie fans. It was like, this is gratuitous.
It's like that movie with Brad Pitt came out.
Oh, fucking World War Z. The fucking guy slips out, coming out the ramp of the plane and fucking shoots himself.
Oh my god.
Because I think it was like a Glock or something. He had his finger on the trigger. So he just fucking...
But that movie was exactly the same as like, I can't even remember.
90 other films.
Yeah, probably.
It was awful.
It was pretty bad.
I was trying to write a zombie book around that time.
Really?
It was a nightmare. Every time I got like...
By the time you got it out, it would have been...
Oh yeah. There would already be 3 films with the same plot. I was like, fuck! Seriously. So I scrapped that years ago. But
you gotta beat the trend.
You do. So I'll be doing werewolves next. Don't tell anyone.
Werewolves are...
Sexy werewolves. They'll be just like really hairy boys.
Okay, I'm with that.
God, I'm already not into it. Alright. But yeah. So my emergency books. I was inspired by Pat Watson at Uncensored Tactical. He had a episode recently about not recently, a good few months back actually. I'll put a link in the description because the actual episode number evades me. But Pat was talking about bugging in, so like having shit for like, it doesn't make sense to bug out. I'm just going to go and live in the woods for 3 months. That's fucking nuts. It's not something that I need to leave the area for. So, martial law, a pandemic, whatever the fuck. I think he beat the pandemic by a few months. I don't remember. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it was right at the start. But I remember I was starting to freak out about martial law. So I was like buying fuck tons of bullets, but I was like, I'm a really bad prepper. I've always appreciated preppers, but I don't do a good job. And so Pat put out this episode, fantastic episode, talking about, how much food and how to store it and all the other things that you need to not live like an animal, and just survive. And so I put together a nice little emergency box, and upon moving, the whole fucking thing, like...
burst.
Yeah, so my water burst, and then in the heat, it semi-cooked all the ramen noodles at the bottom of the case. So it's just this soupy mess of previously perfectly fine survival goods. So that was an expensive lesson learned. My entire
Really
emergency
gross
box.
smelling.
Oh god, it fucking stunk.
Like something died in our garage.
Oh god, it was awful. I apologize for that, but I was trying to look out for us, but Jesus Christ.
Well, we'll try again.
We will try again with a better box, and I'll store the water separately. And that was so Pat even specifically said get a certain type of water bottle because they don't split, and I bought the wrong one. I went
in a panic.
Yeah, seriously, it was when people were pissing themselves about toilet paper. Ironically. I was I think we were good on toilet paper, so I was just go around the shop just watching everyone go fucking nuts over that while I was going to the canned stuff, and the shelves were stacked. I was like, you fucking idiots, you're all gonna die. And I just stocked up on that like a madman. I had all sorts of weird shit in my car, just anything that was would last for a minute. And all fucked. Well, no, the cans were good, but
yeah.
Anyway, no, I'm glad that's something, it might not be politics that you talk about with your partner, but it might be something as simple as prepping, which then, oh, are you crazy? Are you paranoid? This year? Jesus Christ.
If this year has taught me anything, it's that anything is possible. And so I'm going to be prepared for the absolute worst going forward.
Yeah, and...
Or just look at our past. Forget, this...
Well, the thing is, people just don't fucking pay attention to history. They have to live it to learn, which is unfortunate, but this country's had some awful shit from the Dust Bowl to in the 30s or 20s, I forget which. I mean, there's been so many fucking awful times for this country. You'd think the people, they're hardy, but they forget so quick. They get comfortable too quick. And... Yeah.
People are like, that'll never happen.
Yeah, and that's
back about 50 years. One, it already did.
Yeah.
So it could most definitely happen again.
Yeah. And then, Christ, that's why you have so many fucking Democrat gun owners now. All of a sudden they're like, oh, well, I don't like cops anymore. Oh, and also, I don't have a gun.
So... kind of need a gun.
Yeah. I think this is probably, we have a record number of new gun owners, and I think a record number of Democrat households that have guns. It's so funny. They just fucking, they've been laughing and pointing and laughing for years. Now it's oh, I get it. Yep. Tail between their legs.
It's funny how they can just change their ideals like that, huh?
Yep. All this, you're paranoid. What are you gonna do if the cops? What? But I'll choose a few good ones because we're going long. Here's one that will be very contentious in the year 2020, 2024, 2028. Voting. Ugh. So, what do you think of the morality of voting? And has that opinion changed?
I don't see the point. Because I don't trust that what I decide is actually going to be the end result.
Yeah. Yeah, Christ. Nothing's more of a running joke than politicians lying. It's just what they do. Anyone will tell you that. Your grandpa will tell you that when you're 5. It's not a secret. Has that opinion changed? So the morality, did you think... what do you think of it now? I guess you're not interested in voting, but do you think it's immoral to vote?
No. I don't necessarily look down on the people that do vote, because to them, what else are they going to do? They want to be able to participate in their society and somehow make a difference because they still believe they can make a difference. And I think they can, but not that way.
Yeah.
Is how I think now.
Okay.
And I personally am not engaged enough in politics to make that effort right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to vote because it's pointless.
So, okay. So here's something you were speaking about earlier that you'd never told anyone.
Oh God.
Your vote in 2016. Oh, come on. This is funny as fuck. I love it.
I didn't vote in 2016.
You gave us Trump. You gave us Trump.
And then I was blamed for it afterwards.
Yeah. So, how did you feel? So,
everybody was voting. And one, I was busy in my life. Selfish of me, but...
Was it?
No, not really. Because it wouldn't have made a difference.
Well, did you feel that Hillary had earned your vote?
No, neither of them earned my vote.
Yeah.
It was all disgusting. And I was like, why did it come down to this? And then I started just questioning everything.
Well, 350 million people, and we choose a reality TV star and the awful rapist defending she was a lawyer, wife of a war criminal who got impeached for fucking someone else. Like, that's her claim to fame.
How?
She was,
how did it come down to that?
She's so fucking creepy, and like, ugh.
Ugh. But yeah, I told everyone that I voted.
Yeah,
but I did not.
And so, what did you think? You were talking about, like people who were shaming non-voters, like you did this to us and shit. How'd that make you feel?
Really guilty. Like up through the whole election, and his presidency, his first term, I felt super guilty and like.
Because everyone, I mean, plenty of friends are like, "Oh, this man, the evil he's doing, and blah blah blah, and it's so bad now." But
also, I didn't understand how every person I was talking to, not everyone on social media, but everybody hadn't voted for him. How did he win? Trump.
Are you talking about people you know?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you drive anywhere that's not a city and you'll see Trump memorabilia as far as I can see. That's what, main cities don't win elections. It's the flyover people who get shat on. The silent majority. There's a lot of rural America love. I mean, you remember seeing all the...
I know. All that.
Every 3 houses, when we got together with the eMilitia, our locale, every 3 houses had a Trump flag. Like, be like, oh, red one. Past 3 houses. Oh, blue one. Past 3 houses. Oh, I haven't seen that design yet. And then every boat in the on the lake, we were the only one flying a black flag. And every single other one was flying MAGA shit. That's how he wins elections. Plus, Hillary was so fucking awfully unpopular. She's just a bitch.
Yeah.
So you can see, and now again we got fucking dementia-ridden lunatic, and it's like what? Like a creepy dementia-ridden war criminal. What? Ugh.
It's all in his favor.
What, Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
there's a Frank behind the scene.
There's a Frank. I don't know, maybe there is. But yeah, I had never known that you didn't vote in 2016.
And I'm not voting
this year. At the start of the year, did you think that?
No.
Who are you gonna vote for? The nice man.
Yeah.
The nice socialist man.
I was gonna vote for Bernie, okay? And I voted. Actually, I did vote for him.
And then he lost.
Yeah. And then he fucking withdrew.
And then he begged Biden.
And then I was like, what? There's no faith. I've lost all faith.
I'm not gonna lie, Biden did exactly what I wanted. Oh, not Biden, Bernie. I was like, yeah, way to go, you piece of shit. Go and do your piece of shit stuff. Prove you're a piece of shit. And he did. I'm sorry for that. But...
Because I would vote liberal if it made a difference.
Did you believe in any of his policies?
I just liked him as a person. He was just...
God damn it. God fucking damn it. This is how idiots win. This is why there's a fucking dementia-ridden moron.
Because we don't know our shit. That's why.
I love you. And I love
loved Obama, everybody. I really did.
Oh.
And then I learned everything he did, and it broke my soul.
Oh, that's Carrie too. You have good company with her.
But I feel kind of guilty not knowing more. But I feel like there's no room.
No room for that knowledge or the time to do it. Yeah. You have to be a fucking fanatic for this stuff. And I mean, Christ, people will be like, "It's your civic duty." It's like,
I didn't ask for that civic duty.
Yeah, I didn't consent.
I didn't sign any papers.
Well, you know what they call that? The social contract. The social contract you signed up by being born on this bit of dirt instead of the bit of dirt down south of us.
Yeah, because I had a freaking choice in being...
No, you signed the social contract. That's why you gotta pay taxes. And I mean...
That's cute.
And if you're a man, you gotta be... Your face being conscripted. Although it's... I don't know if they've changed that yet. Maybe it's equal now and everyone can be conscripted to go and fight in bullshit wars instead of just men.
It's not different.
The draft.
It's different now.
Hmm?
It is different now.
What, it's men and women?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking the most neoliberal thing is feminists punching the air and going, yeah, we can get drafted. It's like, you dumb fucks. Oh no, they were actually bitching about it, which was like, it's like, you fuck, seriously? Fuck you. Oh, here's a good one. Does it bother you that our movement gets labeled as white supremacists?
Yes, it does.
Like,
because
no, you go ahead.
What are you gonna say?
I got a side there about the Gadsden.
Oh, I was gonna bring up.
Oh yeah, well go ahead.
So along with the word anarchy being shed in such a bad light, when that's not actually, what your ideals are about. Yeah, it sucks that you guys are also labeled as white.
Yeah, it doesn't help things.
Well, because most of the community are... Well, not most, but like a big handful of the community.
Yeah, I mean,
white males.
It's actually very proportional to the population, but to the American population. I think it was it Cato or Mises Institute? The Cato or Mises Institute did a study of libertarian demographics, and I think it was, of course, predominantly white. I think in the 90s or whatever it was. And then more recently, it was damn near bang on for what the U.S. population is, equally divided.
I believe that now.
Yeah.
The people that are in it now.
Yeah,
for sure. But me growing up and hearing the little things from the people around me, that's not what that's not what it was for me.
Oh, had you heard of libertarians before?
No, anarchists.
Oh, anarchists. Think it's a bunch of angsty white people.
No.
No.
No, I just thought, I don't know, they're just violent people, and I didn't think all anarchists were white supremacists at all, but I did think a lot of white supremacists were anarchists.
Yeah.
And, because I didn't understand what anarchy was.
Yeah. So, I mean, now you've met all sorts of, lovely people, and we're all fucking, if we go show up in public with rifles to protest something, we're white supremacists. Even if we're arm in arm with the Black Lives Matter guys who are actually a very libertarian group, which I ignore. Yeah, it's just such an easy label they slap on us. It's why I lost my fucking Teespring. Jesus Christ, I was like, are you for real?
That was so messed up.
And every article you see that comes out, anything that shows any of our community, it's like, blah, 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 and white supremacists. And it's like, it just fucking bites at me every time. And it's like...
It's just misinformation. It's very unfortunate.
You can see how quick, I mean, because they slap that label on us, and then next thing you know, any argument we make gets refuted with, what, you're white supremacist, like, just fuck off. And it's like, what? And, I mean, so you came in my place, first time, and there was a big old black and white Gadsden on the wall. How'd that make you feel?
It scared me. Yeah. Originally.
That's fucked up.
Because growing up on the West Coast, the Gadsden flag does not represent that. And usually, or represent, like, individuality and freedom and, breaking off, being able to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
It was not that.
Yeah, it's just kind of like just another conservative symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame that, because it is individuality, and that's why I love seeing, like, all the variants. You see the fucking rainbow one, you see, like, I mean, there's one that's, like, coiled around a Black Panther, and they're, like, both going to strike, and, all sorts of shit like that. And it's like, yeah, it should be modified and changed to be all sorts of different backgrounds, because it's for the individual, Don't tread on me, the individual. The smallest individual, the smallest minority, And so, like, I'm very defensive of the Gadsden, because I'm very into my symbolism, and, I think it's an important symbol for our movement.
Yeah.
And because it has history. It just... It's upsetting in a way that it gets seen by so many as hateful, And, I'd really like to win that back in culture. And so, like, a lot of people, they're like, oh, well, you just, what's the word? Bowing down to whatever minority or what I'm trying to encourage to join the community, And it's like, no, I genuinely love seeing the variants and love seeing it outside of this framing of it being a racist symbol or something. I mean, Christ, hateful. It's like, it just has no history, despite, and what's really fucked up is when white supremacists carry it. It's like...
And that's what it's giving you guys a bad name.
Whoa.
It's given the symbol a bad name.
The symbol is outright antithetical to what they're doing. It's like...
Well, it's just, they don't understand exactly.
Yeah, they're completely fucking ignorant. And it's like... That means the opposite of what you're doing. You want to, like, force people out, you want to segregate, you want to use violence on someone who's different from you. It's like, don't tread on the individual. You're fucking over. You're using collectivism. You're not about individuality. It makes no sense to me. So, like, it's been abused. But, yeah, I mean, when you first kind of shared your hesitations about it, it was a good conversation, because it helped me learn. Because, I came to this country kind of, I knew the history of the symbol, but I didn't know the feelings about it. Yeah. On the other side.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But should we do like 3 more?
Sure.
Okay. Let's do. Oh, we gotta do the war on drugs.
Yeah.
Seeing as we've been passing back and forth for joint. I think. So, what do you make of drug legalization or decriminalization? Do you think you should be able to buy heroin at Walgreens?
Yeah. If that's what you want to do, you should be able to do it. And you are the ruler of your own body. And if you want to sell your body on the streets, or if you want to inject poison into your veins every morning, no one has the right to tell you that you can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think you should.
Yeah.
And it's not healthy, and there are a lot of consequences that come to that. Yeah. But if you want to go down that route, then you should be able to go down that route.
Yeah. And I think, and people often misrepresent that view to mean like, oh, well, I guess you're cool with, heroin dad over here just killing his kid and neglecting him, whatever the fuck. It's like, no. He is equally as responsible for his actions if he's sober or high. That doesn't change anything.
Why am I responsible for his actions?
Yeah, it's like, if he... I mean, Christ, we want to prevent that, of course, but I think a war on drugs has robbed so many children of fathers over the ones that saved from abuse and all that other shit. I mean, how many dads have either been fucking killed in raids and stuff, or in the black market that their fucking drug war has created? I mean, we could be buying every drug in the world from dispensaries, but instead people are out on street corners, getting shot over territory, and in drug wars, and whether it's in Mexico, Afghanistan, there's people all over the world. We're funding terrorists by encouraging this black market instead of Dave with his herbal heroin. We could be growing it right here in the States, clean and safe, but instead we're Al Qaeda and all that is funneling weed and shit to the United Kingdom and Europe. It's insane.
Well, the whole war is because it's money that they don't have control over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what the war on alcohol,
the prohibition. Yeah.
That's what that was.
Well, I mean, they were getting tax on it. It was more like a moral law.
Yeah.
Like the drug war was conservatives being terrified of kids being on wacky tobacco and devil's cabbage or whatever. Devil's lettuce. I said that last time too. I'm a fucking old man. But yeah, I mean, it's all moral panic and outrage and shit, and just enabled a state of abuse that continues to this day. And people say, well, what's the alternative? Like I said, letting fathers be strung out on drugs and neglecting their kids. It's like, I think that's like when it's clean and when there's like help, and when you're not criminalizing it and the help is available, and an addict's going to be an addict whether it's illegal or not.
Yeah, they're going to find a way.
Yeah, so it might as well be clean, accessible, all that shit, and encouraged, not to fucking do it or whatever. And then, compared to criminalizing it being dirty, it funding all sorts of awful organizations, and then the guy's a criminal, gets locked up, killed for it, and then the kid's an orphan rather than being neglected. I mean, to be dark, that's the options, It's like, I don't really see who's being helped. I just see power being given and damage being done.
Yeah.
So dark.
Ugh.
So fucking dark.
It's a sad truth, though.
Oh, fuck, I just clicked the wrong thing. Kind of did 2 in 1 there. Go us. What do you think of entrepreneurs and capitalism? Is capitalism evil?
No. What? No. People do abuse it, though.
Abuse it?
Not abuse it, but use it to their advantage. And
I'd hope so. Your eyes. Yeah. So what would be an unfair use of capitalism? To be on the spot. So capitalism is like the free exchange of goods and services in a market without government intervention. So like a free market is without regulation. What we're experiencing is very heavily regulated. It's what you'd call corporatism or cronyism. So like the government has vested interest in or government officials have vested interest in creating laws that help out corporations crush competition, because those corporations will be funding their they'll be funding their re-election campaigns and shit, and giving them kickbacks and cushy spots on boards when they're out out of government. And so they just plug into each other. They feed each other. Government helps corporations. Corporations help government. And so without government force, being able to just write a new law and then all of a sudden you're not able to sell this product, which is like your best seller, what's keeping your business afloat, and you're done. They can just sign that into law overnight with force, and if you disobey it, you will show up with guns, and you'll either end up in a cage or dead. And so that's not a free market. That's a very controlled market. And so capitalism, people treat our current system as if it's free market capitalism. You'll hear people say that, and it's like, this is very far away from that. And so I hate saying like not real capitalism, but it genuinely isn't. It's very criminally disturbed, And so when people rally against capitalism, usually what they're mad about is corporations being in bed with government, and people will then attack libertarians with those kind of criticisms, and it's like, we are also against this. Or consistent libertarians are. Some people just think selling things is good, and that's what capitalism is. But really it's, an exchange is private. It's between you and a consenting party, usually to mutual benefit. You're both okay with this deal. I'm giving you something you need, you're giving me something I need, or something that's a commodity to me, whatever. And so there's no third party being like, hey guys, I'm going to step in the way here. You're going to give me part of the money you're giving him, actually a little bit extra, because you're doing it here. And if you don't, I'm going to send our men to, cage or kill you. That's what taxation is, Taxation is theft. But that was a tick. But so yeah, what do you think of the idea of capitalism with that kind of framing?
I think it totally makes sense. I mean, that's how things started.
Yeah, like to mutual benefit.
Before there was currency. Like, oh, you've got 5 pigs, and I want your cow. I think that's pretty even.
Yeah,
let's trade them.
yeah. It's why they. So a different name for anarchism in our kind of sect is voluntarism. Everything should be a voluntary interaction. And so that's like a very easy way to put it across. Like I think there should be consent before I do anything, and when consent is removed, that's inherently wrong. If we talk about it from a from a sexual standpoint, you're going to be like, of course, you would have to consent to that. Yeah. But then the second you say like, well, how are we going to build the roads? And it's like, and it's a guy like pointing a gun at someone, and you're like, well, they have to give me money for roads because he lives here. It's like, well, he bikes everywhere. He doesn't give a fuck. He has a 4-wheel drive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whatever.
But there's no choice.
The guy is not consenting to it. Or just like people who, don't choose to have kids and they pay their whole lives for public schools. Or people who might live in a state or somewhere where there's, abortions are taxpayer funded. You can't opt out of them if you were like an Orthodox, Christian or something. I mean, it's pretty horrifying. You can understand why people get very defensive. It's like their very religion is against this inherently. Yeah. And you're pointing a gun at them and saying, you will fund this. And it goes, every which way. Whenever someone wants something from government, something free from government, quote unquote, a gun's pointed at someone. And it's like, where's the morality?
Yeah.
So I think capitalism and
entrepreneurship are the same, essentially.
Yeah, I don't know. Entrepreneur is just an individual engaging in capitalism, And so something I was talking about with you earlier was we vilify capitalism, but we praise entrepreneurship in this society. Like when someone raises themselves up using entrepreneurship, we're like, yeah, what a good guy. But then it's like, but society doesn't appreciate capitalism the same way, where it's like the system that guy's literally using,
Well, it's because a lot of us are confused.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking capitalism was corporatism.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah. When government force is used to help businessmen, companies, entities squash computational force, government force, for profit. It's
that's what it is. When they're saying capitalism is what we live in now, and I'm looking around at what's actually going on, I see corporatism.
Yeah, just with this stimulus thing, it was the biggest transfer of wealth in human history.
Yeah,
and everyone fucking didn't even flinch. The amount of money that went into government raises and went into the pockets of big corporations,
God.
To help, quote unquote, help them through the tough time, and they have to find a way to spend all the money and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, so you just took all of our taxpayer money and you gave it to the big companies, and there were so many cases, when they gave it to airlines, the condition was they didn't fire people, and so they take the money no, of course not, and they fire the people,
mm-hmm.
and they get the money, they get the subsidies, and just, and so people are capitalism, and it's not at all, that's government, that's cronyism. It's people filling the pockets of their friends. None of it's organic. That money had no business making that transfer. But there it goes. Because of guns and authority.
Mm.
Boom.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. That's gonna sound awful when I edit that.
Oh, fun.
Should we end on something fun?
Yeah.
So, after all that ranting, I had a few questions. I was asking people to send me serious philosophical ones, and a few ones were just what did she think of your accent? And I was oh, that's wholesome. So what do you? I think I've asked you this pretty recently.
I love your accent.
Yeah. But
what?
No, I was gonna say, but you said to me it wasn't a selling point.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't oh, he's British.
Yeah.
From the start, our conversation was not about any of that.
Mm-mm.
Which was really nice, because when I got here, I just felt like a fucking speaking spell.
Everybody was say this.
Yeah,
say
seriously.
That. How do you say that?
Like your sisters.
I had to put them in their place.
Yeah, that's sweet. They're younger, so it's okay. But, yeah, it's it was never about that. It was just individuals appreciating each other.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise because we were just texting and
just vibing, just
texting each other in the beginning, and then I meet you, and I'm oh. Okay, that's interesting. What else is there about you?
Yeah.
It was a plus.
That's sweet. And I think that's helped a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not been a focus, and it's nice to just be me rather than be British. You know? And yeah, I'm all about individualism and to be myself rather than part of a group around, my partner is fucking essential, If you're about me just because I was British or whatever, I'd be I don't know. Yeah. But you're not. Yeah, it's lovely. I appreciate it.
I mean, if you had a regular old... It's nearing the end, guys. If you were...
And 67 hits deep. I'm feeling pretty good. My toes are gone.
I'm underneath my covers. I'm curling up into a ball. It's done. But no, if you had a regular... I can't fucking speak. If you had a regular American accent...
Y'all.
It wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah. That's what we got. And, so the final one. What about me caught your eye? My stunning good looks, it's alright.
I think it was how tall you were.
Yes. Go gigantism.
And just your aura.
Yo, hippie shit.
You just had a good Yeah, you had some good colors around you. And you were just easygoing.
Fuck yeah. That's what surprises everyone. Like, for all my anger and my ranting, I'm pretty fucking chill.
Yeah.
You've helped. You seriously, you've been such a big help. Because when I was like really in the middle of my social media shit, like when we first started digging, and I was kind of on a roll, kind of had some fire, and you've definitely helped balance me a lot more. I'm focused. I'm still fucking angry. There's a lot of bullshit going on, but I'm not like, it's not just anger. It's like focused now. Mm-hmm. You've done a lot for me with that. I'm like, you give me enough time to be like, okay, chill the fuck out, dude. and be a fucking person instead of a radical for 5 minutes, which next thing you know, I'm ranting about, what the fuck was I ranting about this morning? I was ranting about being on federal watch lists and shit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we were talking about...
Yeah. Good shit.
Good stuff. Hey, but what about me caught your eye?
You seem very easygoing too. I was like, because there's a lot of stuff that I got going on that you need to be easygoing for, and you seemed like you would, just from like our initial talk and stuff, I was like, she seems like someone who would, value personality and beliefs and stuff, just a real person instead of all the bullshit, because so many people so we met, on a dating app, and because we're both so fucking busy. I would have been forever alone if I didn't bother with that.
The only way to do.
Seriously. You're not gonna just bump into someone in the supermarket. That shit's weird, especially in this year. Don't creep people out. Just go on dating apps like a normal person. But where the fuck was I going with that? Oh yeah, but you seemed like very accepting and very down to earth, and your profile wasn't fake. So many people have all these fucking duck face, pouty lipped, filtered to dog shit. Yeah, like pictures, and you were just you. Like, gorgeous and like perfectly normal. No, you know what I mean? Like, you weren't weird about it. You weren't like, it was just you. I could tell it was you being you, not posing or like any bullshit. No dog fillers. Fuck off, dog fillers. Die in a hole. No, you were a real person, and that was important. And now you're my favorite real person.
Yeah, that was enough.
Yeah, none of that shit. But no, thanks for sitting down and dealing with my bullshit, and being accepted and being awesome to talk to you about this stuff. Because when you're a fucking nutcase about this stuff, you need a regular person who's understanding and empathetic, but can deal with your bullshit when you're a lunatic, and you're a pro. And you can handle a rifle, it does so much for me.
Yeah, I can.
My word.
Well, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Good. And my lovely girlfriend, you'll be appearing again on I think we're gonna release it as episode 50. It's kind of like a little celebration, halfway to 100. Our first live episode. So it'll be myself and then the whole gang, apart from Anglo and Dads, with our significant others sitting around the table bullshitting into the night. On shrooms, weed, and plenty of alcohol. Holy shit! I thought we were all fucking bullshitting about how much we drank.
Yeah, I think I had like 13 shots of tequila.
Yeah, you, Carrie, Buckles, and
it was a grand time.
And Rezzy's wife. Holy shit! That was quite something. I was very proud of you lot. The smell of tequila would send me reeling, but holy shit. Anyway. I
think I'm referred to as Lady BR in that one.
Lady BR, yeah, I believe so. I love it. Alright, well, thanks for listening, guys, and I hope this, might have educated you about maybe how to speak to loved ones, and, if this is popular, we'll carry on. I'll be pushing the rest of the eMilitia and friends of ours to talk with their loved ones, whether it's partners, siblings, parents, whatever. We'll be looking into it. Anyway, thanks for listening. And we'll see you next time.